success growing chamomile, and I guess this year is the year that I do, because we have a ton of it and now I got to figure out what to do with it. So today we're going to do chamomile strawberry jam. And if you do have some more suggestions for chamomile besides tea, I know about tea, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and see what kind of ideas, because I definitely have way too much on my hands. So first we're going to start with our strawberries. So this is a very simple jam recipe. This is not going to be something that we can. It's going directly into the refrigerator. And I've got about 3 baskets of strawberries that I got from the farmer's market earlier this week. And the first thing you want to do is always wash everything, and then you want to inspect the fruit. Again, as I mention all the time, you need to look for any blemishes or any signs of mold or deterioration. And you also want to remove the stems, because that's not very good to eat, right? I don't care how much sugar's on it. The stem is not good. When in doubt, throw it out. So if you have you're kind of like, I don't really know about this situation, look at that one. See, it's like kind of soft. Honestly, that's fine. But if you're questioning it, go ahead and cut it out. That's totally fine. So I'm gonna take each strawberry, just slice it in half or in quarters. And I'm just gonna get the rest of this basket done. And then we're gonna go see our chamomile. This is crazy. I'm not used to doing this little jam. This is not a lot.
How many people is this for?
It's gonna make like a medium deli of jam. Yeah. It is so pretty. I've been using them in some arrangements for the house and at the store, and it smells really good. And I guess I can make some tea, but you know, there's already tea out there. So let's use this in our jam, and it's an edible flower. I'm going to start off with maybe, let's do 2 flowers per basket, because I've never made this before. And I know chamomile has kind of like a light flavor, but we only have 3 baskets of strawberries. In fact, I was just telling Cynthia, I've never made this little jam. I'm usually making tons of jam. I usually use 2 flats of strawberries to make jam. So this is a really small recipe, and it's probably going to make just about a cup or 2 of jam at the most. So maybe I'll add a couple more. I don't know, whatever. So I'm going to use the same cutting board for the strawberries because less dishes. And I'm taking my petals and I'm just chopping them up. Like, I wonder if we should have more flowers. What do you think?
Yeah, flowers are pretty.
Okay, let's go pick some more. Okay. They're so pretty. They're so delicate. I've never had success in growing this. I wonder, I don't know, maybe it's feeding off of the fennel. I have no idea, but. Oh, Lord. Okay, so just turned on the heat, and we have 2 more ingredients to add, and that's sugar, of course, because we need to preserve it. And my thing is lime juice. I add lime juice to all of my preserves, all of my sweet preserves. And I just feel like it brightens up the fruit a little bit. I don't add too much. Just a splash. And then the sugar. About a cup. Not too much. And I'm just going to let it cook down. It's going to take a while. Because we don't have a huge amount, you should definitely stay by the stove and keep stirring it, because it really quickly goes from super cool to the bottom of the pot is scorched, and now you just burnt everything and you ruined your pot. So if you're going to make jam, just realize you're going to have to be committed to staying by the stove and mixing it and keeping your eye on it. So the first part is just letting the fruit break down. I actually turned the heat down a little bit. My stove's really strong. And again, we don't have that much fruit going on, but as you notice, it's starting to get some liquid from the fruit and the sugar. So that's going to help break down the rest of the fruit, and eventually it'll become a little bit more jam-like consistency, and that's when you really got to be on it. So
once you make the jam, how long is it good for?
In the refrigerator. Again, we did not seal a jar. I would say at least a month. Between the sugar and the acidity, it should be fine. And again, just look at the container. If you see a little bit of mold, it's not good anymore. So again, when in doubt, throw it out. If you see, some discoloration that doesn't look normal, it's done. But this is so little, honestly, I think you're going to eat it so fast, I don't think you're going to have to worry about it. And see the liquid's getting a little bit thicker now, and see the fruit's it's losing its shape. So we're heading towards our goal of making some jam. And it's starting to smell, I make a lot of strawberry jam. This definitely has a different aroma to it, don't you think?
It does. And
you can smell the chamomile.
You haven't stopped stirring.
No, I haven't. It's pretty, I'm pretty nervous about letting this be on its own when I have just this much fruit in here. So technically you could even stop at this point. The fruit's still whole. It's more of a preserve. Preserve is when more of the fruit's original shape is still intact. This would be like preserved strawberries in chamomile syrup. It's like more of a rough jam, I guess. This would be absolutely delicious because you're getting whole chunks of strawberries. But we're going to go a little bit further just so you can see the end result. I do want to turn down the heat though, and Cynthia and I are going to give it a little taste to see if we need a little bit more sugar or even more flowers. So. I just filmed that. Oh no. Okay, Cynthia and I just tried it. It's very good. If you really like chamomile, you can add more flowers, but it's just really subtle and it's very good. And the low amount of sugar just really, it tastes like strawberries with a little bit of herb. But as you see, this is getting broken down very quickly. My stove is really strong. If you look at the fire on this thing, that's like hardcore. It's not even on full. That's full. But yeah, it's cooking very fast. I actually thought we were going to sit and hang out for a second, and nope, I've been here the whole time. Making sure this thing doesn't boil over. One thing that you need to know with jam, and especially jellies are more of the juice, the fruit, the juice of the fruit preserved. And the one thing that you do need to know is when it gets to a certain point in boiling, it kind of turns into what I like to call the pasta water effect. So 1 minute it's totally fine, and the next minute everything's boiled over. And this is not something you want to have the pasta water effect happen. This is sugary, it's syrupy, it's sticky, and if it gets all over your stove, you're probably going to spend more time cleaning up your stove than you will making the jam. So just keep your eye on it. Every once in a while it may start foaming up. You just turn down the heat, and I kind of like wave my hand over it. And we are getting so close to done. Almost all the shape of the fruit is gone. Okay, so this is an indicator that you're almost there. If you look at the side of this pot, look at that. I have to look, it's jammy right there. I have to scrape it. That's what's telling you it's thick. It's almost ready. And also you don't see any resemblance of the fruit anymore. You have to scrape the sides. I love that red against the teal. I love this pot so much. I got this for $7.
Did you get this at the yard sale?
At the yard sale, yeah. Everything on here, yard sale. But yeah, this is about done. You don't want it to go too far because then you're going to risk burning it, and all this work, you're going to have this little bitter aftertaste. So I'm going to say this is good. How much time total has this been, Cynthia? Oh, okay. So you have to be super careful. Don't do what I just did and get your face up close, because it's like lava. All of a sudden you get these drops coming out and they'll hit you in the face. So yeah, be very careful. Stir like this. Don't stir like that. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, as the water is reduced in the jam, you're going to get a lot of bubbling with thick pieces of hot molten lava, jam lava, and you just want to be careful. Yeah, I could have got my eyeball. Okay.
To answer your question, I think it's only been max, what, like
20 minutes? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I normally don't make this little jam, so this is like, I'm into this. It's fast. Usually we're doing big containers. So I turn the heat off, and you can just see the consistency in here. It's just thick and shiny when I run my spoon across. Of course, up here it's like very thick. That just means it's done, and it's still bubbling. I'm just going to just stir it a little bit more, make sure no parts are going to burn, and then I'm just going to let it sit here and cool for the next 30 minutes. And